Here we go. Welcome to another episode of the Bottom Line Podcast. So we say what we mean, and we say what we mean, and we mean what we say. Because at the core of everything that is, was, and forever will be, there will always be the bottom line. Facebook is a crazy social media platform, and I'm grateful for it because I was able to run into today's guest, Monsieur Jean-Charles. Jean-Charles is a serious dude. Met him back in the city when I was doing rentals, and he's somebody that, as soon as you get in around him, there's aspirations there. There's ambition there. I mean, he's got this magnetic energy, right? How tall are you, Jean-Charles?
About 6'3". Let's say
6'3".
it's
All right, so I'm
6'2" and a
5'8".
quarter, but it's about 6'3".
Yeah, he's 6'3". So I'm about 5'8". I saw the guy and I was like, oh, I think he's an Abercrombie and Fitch model. I don't know. I wasn't 100% sure. But he was not standoffish at all. He was actually really cool. And he's also Haitian, so we kind of vibed over that. Jean-Charles now is actually a Haitian American actor and poet and just so much more, man. I mean, we can't define this guy by titles, not in any way possible. And it's good that I finally, ran into him on Facebook. And thanks for taking the time, Jean-Charles, to, be on the podcast. How you been, man? How you been since the virus started and everything?
Fantastic, man. I feel like I've been really fantastic, just growing every day, riding the ebbs and flows of everything, and just looking for, just continuing to find the light, man. Even on the dark days, just continuing to find the light.
You see, that's the stuff. That's how actors talk. That's it right there. That's the stuff right there.
That's artist talk.
Yeah, that's how artists talk. I'm sorry. Corrected. Stand corrected. Yeah, that's the stuff, though. That's quality stuff right there. I'm going to be honest with you, man. It's hard to find that light during these dark days for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
It's really, really, really hard. Do you think it has you finding the light during these dark days? Do you think the fact that you're living in California, like 5 minutes away from a beach, has anything to do with your perspective and your outlook on life today?
Absolutely, right? Yeah, absolutely. Your environment is absolutely going to shape your perspective. But I will say, having grown up in being born in Haiti, then having grown up in New York for about 30 years, and then having lived in Europe as well, gives me a good world view. I haven't lived in really any other like third world country or anything, or country that's been war ridden or something like that. So I can't really speak on that, but I do try to follow what's going on around the world. So I say that to say I don't, even though it is somewhat of an oasis to live where I live.
Yeah.
I don't let my environment blind me to what's going on in the rest of the world, if that makes sense.
Sure. You're not living in a bubble. You're still very much in touch with what's going on in the world. How was life for you growing up in Haiti? Like how many years were you in Haiti before you came to the States?
I moved to the States when I was about, I believe, 6.
Okay.
6 years old.
Okay.
There's many, it's very vague. It's vague.
Yeah.
It's vague, honestly. There's a lot that I don't remember. I remember the moments before getting on the plane with my dad and coming here, a few of those moments, but I think subconsciously I blocked out a lot of moments during that time, because I think there's a lot of trauma surrounding it, and there's stuff that I haven't really tapped into yet. Maybe I need to see a hypnosis.
Oh, it's gonna come out in your acting. I'm sure it'll come out in your acting, right? You'll use it when you need it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, yeah, I want to say I believe it was good. I think my mom was like a lot of people in Haiti. Her dad was a bit well off. We had a housekeeper, but then my granddad. But then my dad wasn't. We didn't have like a nuclear family. My dad wasn't around. He just business guy, very smart, but very much so a playboy and philanderer. So
yep, as is the Haitian way, right?
Unfortunately, man,
yeah.
It's not all like that, but yeah.
That generation, though, oh my gosh, that generation! I can't tell you. I'm like, yo, you guys got kids on the rocks you don't even know about. right? Like, what's going on?
Savage. I got a sister in France
Wow.
that lives in Paris, and I'm just when I was living in Berlin, I
Yeah.
visited Paris a few times. I'm like, yo, like my dad, I'm like, yo, why didn't you warn me, man? Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what? What if I ran into my sister and I tried to kick it to her, yo?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah, that'd be crazy. Yeah.
That'd
Or the
been wild,
cousins.
yo.
Yeah.
I'm like, you got to give me a heads up. So yeah, no, that generation was savage for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's nuts. It's crazy. I think this is the other thing I realized. So we're Haitian American, right? And there's this whole argument that you need to have the parent in the home. You need to have the father in the home. So the way
Yeah,
I was brought up, my father was in the home, but not a lot. Like he wasn't like, helicopter parenting or anything. He was always in the office, always working. He was there for the important things. You know what I mean? Always, but the work ethic was instilled from a very young age. So that's really what
yeah.
I can remember about my father, right? And he's still alive. Actually, his birthday was just like a couple of days
I
ago.
saw that. I saw that on your page.
Yeah, 73 years old. But I think what we kind of like get away from as young Haitians, right, is that level of independence, right? That we're taught from a very young age to be self-sufficient
Right.
and not to
Absolutely.
be reliant on the government or reliant on even our parents. It's kind of like, I
Right.
gave you the roof, I gave you the fridge, figure it out. You know what I mean? Like there's food in the fridge, put the food together, unless it's
Right.
like you're too young to cook. But I think
Right.
around like 12, 13 years old, you're pretty much figuring it out. You know what I mean?
I was doing it at 10, bro. So
Right?
yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about you spent some time, in real estate, right? That's where we met. We met in real estate. But
Yeah.
I think you said to me, that really wasn't what you were focusing on. It was just something that your mom suggested, right? Like
Yeah. I was floating at that time. I was working in the nightlife. I was having fun, getting drunk, just making money,
city life.
hanging out. Yeah, night city life, man. Just because I always had when I was younger, I used to skip school and go to Manhattan a lot. So Manhattan was this paradise for me, right? This concrete paradise. So I always had this dream that I would live there and work there. And that's when I was in Queens, right? That's what
Yeah.
I was envisioning and manifesting. So
Yeah.
and around that time in my early 20s, mid 20s, it happened, right? So I was
Right.
working in Manhattan. I was not only was I working in Manhattan, I was working in nightlife where with A-list celebrities and just it was just the who of the who, right? The creme de
Nice.
la creme of what was going on. So you're talking
Right.
about hot ass women,
Yeah.
just
Models.
just yeah, intelligent people, and you're
Yeah.
just in the mix of it. So I was just in it, right? So and my mom, of course, she just wants the best for me. And even though I was making money, she just was like, yo, why don't you try this, right? Try this. Cause she just ultimately just wants me to build my life and just be good, right?
Yeah.
If she at some point when she leaves this earth, right? That's how any parent thinks. That's how I'm
Yeah.
thinking right
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
my side, right? So I gave it a try. I was open to it, right? Because I was like, because I'm open. So I said, hey, why not? I went, got my real estate license. Next thing you know, like I was telling you earlier, I worked for two smaller companies initially, and then I almost quit. I actually did quit. I had a I was dating a girl at the time. She was Puerto Rican, Dominican,
Yeah.
um,
Those will
and
get
she,
you in trouble.
huh?
Those will get you in trouble.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. You spend those.
She was in Puerto Rico, and I remember I got out the brokerage at the time, and I was like, "Yo, I'm done with this." And
Yeah.
she was like, "Yo," she's like, "Take a plane, come meet me in Puerto Rico." So I jump on a plane, I go meet her for a weekend, and I'm chilling. So we have fun over there. Then I
Yeah.
come back, and I start looking at ads again just for jobs. And then actually, it was so funny because I wasn't looking in the real estate section. I was looking in the bartender section,
Okay.
and that's where I found the ad for Bond.
Okay.
And then I saw the ad, and it was compelling because it
Yeah.
was like we're artists and actors here. We do real estate. It's a laid back environment, which was total bullshit. Which I realized now there's
Right.
no such thing as a laid back environment in real
Yeah.
estate.
That's what they
And
use.
oh, right. Especially back when I started in '06, it was like a boiler room,
Yeah. There it is.
right? So I went in interviewed with our guy Signet. He hired me on the spot, and just I took off from there. I hit the ground running. I like immediately flowed with it, and
Yeah,
you know,
we can go a couple of different ways there. We can go a couple of different ways there. I remember when I first started out in the city, it was so hard to focus because I was meeting girls all the time. I was like, how do people get anything done here? Right. And I'll be real with you. Like, I started out as an optician. I wasn't even in real estate just yet. I was working on Fifth Avenue. It's beautiful corporate American women.
yeah,
And, they're from everywhere. They're from all walks of life. You've got Trini women, you've got white women, you've got Spanish women, and I'm like, gosh, like, and I'm always just talking to people. They come into the store. I'm trying, and it's like very close contact. You know what I mean? So
right,
the frames on, and it's like, oh,
right,
you're very nice, and it's like you just have a conversation, and we're trading phone numbers, and before
right.
you know it, you're like coming to work late. You're doing everything late. So I probably lost my first job on Fifth Avenue because of a I don't know, not like a casual thing that I was in. You know what I
Right.
mean? And then I got into real estate, and I was like, okay, this was the trip for me, right? And
Right.
you could probably relate to this. This was the trip. When I was doing the eyeglasses, the women that were really friendly, they were customers, right? But when you're working in real estate, a lot of those women are also other real estate agents.
Yeah.
And we're going to the bar at like 3:00 and drinking.
Yeah.
So there's a
Yeah.
lot of trouble. There's no accountability. You're probably
No.
not going to hit your targets for the day. You're just thinking that you're going to have a great time. And it's like,
Right.
shit, I got nothing done today. But so you're way worse than me, though. So I'm staying local. You got on a plane and went to Puerto Rico.
Well, that's my girlfriend though.
Okay.
But she was my girlfriend at the time. So it was just a thing of like, she's like, yo, I know you're stressed out. I have a an oceanfront hotel room. Come bury your sorrows in the sand, and in all this that's going on, and
Right.
in me, right? She's
Right.
my lady. So she's like, let me heal you. So
Yeah.
right,
She's out of there
booked it.
yesterday.
No, it was the debauchery it wasn't her. It just the debauchery was when I was in the city working at nightlife. Nightlife, real estate for me, I really never. I didn't really like networking events, so I didn't attend too many networking events. I was very. I don't know what's the. I was very much like I like to keep my business separate out of the office, so I
Right.
didn't really. I don't think a lot of the real estate world really knew me outside of
Yeah.
that world. Like I was a different person in nightlife.
Got it. Got it.
You know what I mean? And it's
Okay.
not to say I hid who I was. I didn't
Right.
hide my personality.
Yeah.
I'm always gonna be me. But nightlife
That's a
is just
different person.
it's a different beast. It's a
Yeah.
totally different beast,
Yeah.
right? So the way I interact with customers during real estate, where I'm showing apartments, and
Right.
I'm super, let's say, super
Professional, exactly.
cordial, and
Yeah.
just all around pleasant. It's different at nightlife.
Right.
There's an edge to it, right? I'm still cordial and I'm pleasant, but then being a bartender at that time, how much volume you do. I mean,
Right.
you've been to many bars and restaurants, you see how bartenders
Yeah.
they work.
Right.
It's hard, man.
Yeah.
So your whole thing, your attitude changes a bit, because it's very much like it's you're turning, just like rentals it's turnover, right?
Right. Right.
So
High. Very high.
high. So the bar, just think about the bar is like
Yeah.
it's all about time. So I can't spend time with people and
Yeah.
have long conversations with them, especially these places I was working. And then it's like if somebody gives me an attitude, I'm giving it right back. And it's
Right.
like, yo,
Right.
I got three big ass motherfuckers right there who will throw you out the door if you keep it
Right.
up. So
Right.
it was a different thing.
Yeah.
And it
I
was a
think what's interesting too about you, especially just thinking about what you're saying in the bar scene, in the bar scene, you get a lot more women that are
oh,
bartenders.
absolutely.
And I remember,
Absolutely.
yeah, especially during that period. Now you got a
Yeah.
lot more male bartenders, but when you're talking back in '06 maybe, or '07, right around there was more women, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, a lot of men started doing it because they were like seeing how much money the women were making, right?
Yeah.
But then there was also something about you that you can't hide no matter what, that I noticed about you, is just how genuine you are, how authentic you are, right? And I think that that's what makes bartenders money, their
Yeah.
personality, right? How genuine they are, how real they are, how they're able to just like, help so many people out by getting the drinks, remembering those orders, mixing
Oh
those,
yeah.
and then getting those tips and then moving on to the next person and still being relatable, being real, right? You can't
Yeah.
escape that no matter what. You can tone it
No.
down a few levels, but you
Right.
can't escape it, right?
Yeah, definitely. Oh no, I was always authentic. Always
Yeah.
authentic. You know, even when somebody pissed me off, I'm gonna authentically tell you to go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? It's like,
Right. There's no other way to say it.
no, so it's just
Right.
like I was always authentic. I really enjoyed the nightlife. I really enjoyed um and talk it's funny talking about there were more female bartenders there were, because one of the first places I worked at, it was more, I think there was a lot more women than men.
Yeah.
And a lot of the bars, as like it started changing as the years went on, but a lot of the bars were like, used to work at a bar. It was me and two girls, these two
Right.
cute Latin girls,
Right.
and they're both like 5'1", and I'm this 6'3"
Yeah. Yeah.
dude, and I'm in between them, and people will come to the bar and be like, "What the
What the
hell?"
huh? Yeah.
You know, La Esquina, right?
No, I don't remember her.
La Esquina in Nolita. I used to work there.
Oh, okay. You know what? I used to go to bars and never know the names. I just knew the streets they were on.
It's the taco stand on the corner off of Lafayette. You open the fridge and you go downstairs, and the restaurant's downstairs.
Okay. Dang,
Yeah,
I'm looking way back. I don't remember it though. I probably should
yeah.
have probably been there, but I don't remember it. Right.
But
And
no, it definitely was a great time. I loved
yeah.
living in the city and experiencing that life. It definitely prepared me for just life in general, right?
Yeah.
Like just navigating those two worlds, because for a long time I did both of them simultaneously.
Bartending and real estate.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You got to have a side hustle in between those deals. You know what I'm wondering about you? So a lot of times when you see people in the city, they kind of, there's a restaurant over on Rockefeller Center that I took
yeah,
one girl to, and then we kind of got food, and they were the waitresses that were there. They were theater um, actresses, and they would come over to your table and they would sing the entire menu, right?
right,
And then when you got your food and they presented you with your food, you'd have like a chorus. There would be like probably 6 or 7 actresses, and they would be all coming waitresses, but they were all actresses, and they'd be
yeah.
coming over and they would just serenade you while you're eating your food. It was
That's
the
amazing.
craziest thing, right? Like they were
That's
dead
amazing.
serious about doing their work. They were dead serious about, their dream of becoming an actor, right?
Yeah,
With you, and this is, for me, somebody I don't know about acting and I would never think about being an actor. And for somebody like you though, who's so relatable, so authentic, so personable, right? What made you, people gravitate towards you. I've noticed that about you. I noticed it a lot when I was around you in the office and I just see you doing your own thing. What made you say, you know what, I can't, just be part of a crowd. I gotta go still pursue my dream, to a point where you got up, you left New York, and then you relocated to California. What made you do that? Like, to leave all, your New York friends behind, all your New York relationships, and just get up and just uproot and go start fresh in California. Can you remember what your mindset was like? What happened that day? Or
yeah. I mean, that really came from a need. So that stemmed from a need for change. That really was what it that's what it was. It was change, because I started at some point. I just started really. Um, I started taking my art more serious, because I was suppressing the artist part of myself. I've been a poet for a long time. I've been writing poetry forever, since I was a kid. Right?
okay,
I've won awards for it. I used to write rhymes as a kid, like,
me
and make
too. Yeah,
songs, and I still write rhymes. Right?
nice,
So,
nice.
um, but I was suppressing that part of myself. I wasn't confident in it. I didn't think that I didn't really see my placement there, just because I wasn't confident in it. But I think at some point it switched, and then I started pursuing it, and I started modeling, and then modeling was going to be my key to segue into acting. So as that grew, um, it was amazing. I started building more confidence in myself, but I was doing real estate and I was bartending, and then I just got to a point where the city just like I was saying, when I was in Queens, I was manifesting. Like when I was Haiti, I was manifesting America. So when I was in Queens, I was thinking of Manhattan. And then
Got it.
when I got to being in Manhattan, and then I traveled to Germany, I just wanted more. I was just
Got it.
like, okay, I love Manhattan, but this can't be the place that I live and die for the rest of my life,
Got
right?
it. Got
So I needed to. I think after living in Germany, I was just like, it was also the catalyst for me to have no fear about uprooting and then starting somewhere else.
Right, right. That's
Um,
that's amazing, man. I like the word you used there. You said it was the catalyst because I think that's what a lot of people are missing out on. They know they want to get up, they know they want to relocate, they know they want to do something different in their lives, but
yeah,
they haven't identified what that is yet. And there's
yeah,
like there's nothing that triggers it. There's no catalyst, right?
yeah,
You hit it right on
yeah.
the head. Like you identified that catalyst. You needed the change, right? And then I
Oh, I
think
know.
what's
Yeah,
cool about what you said is like when you were in one phase, you were envisioning the other phase. So from
yeah,
being in Queens, you envisioned the city. From being in the city, you envisioned leaving the city, right? To
yeah,
ending up in California, right? I'm scared
yeah.
to ask you what you're envisioning next. You know what I mean? Because you might just do it, right?
Oh no, it's definitely no. I visualize, and that's such a big thing. I visualized living here for a year before I lived here.
Yeah, that's powerful.
I
That's powerful.
I yeah, I had the so I moved here with a girl. We were together for about 2.5 years. We got here, it ended, but we're very good friends. We both stayed. We were talking the other day, and we're just like, God damn, I can't believe we've been here almost 5 years, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but her and I we were just manifesting and envisioning hardcore.
yeah.
So it wasn't necessarily, it's funny because it wasn't necessarily acting. That was like the primary reason I moved out here because I was already starting to take my career serious in New York before I left. But I did know coming here I would have a lot more opportunities, right?
Right.
So I made my primary reason for moving here was for lifestyle.
Ah, so it's bigger than acting.
Yeah, that was my thing. Because I wanted better weather. I didn't want because I used to live on 28th and Lexington, so I'd walk out the door and people
Busy.
were walking on top of me.
Yeah, commercial
And
activity all day.
it was also for health reasons too. There was a point around 2014, 13 that I wasn't doing so well health wise.
Right.
And my body was just my body was just having all the things, let's say nightlife and the drinking and all that stuff was having a negative effect on me.
Yep,
So
yep, yep.
it started manifesting negatively. So that's when my lady at the time, we started thinking, we're like, all right, maybe we need to get out of here. And
Yeah,
that's when I was like, and I knew I couldn't heal the way I wanted to staying in the city.
yeah,
It was just the vibration, the energy was just too intense.
yeah,
So I needed to be around immediate nature and a lot of sunlight, right? So we thought about a few places, but eventually, so like that's why I said like it wasn't necessarily acting, it was lifestyle first.
yeah.
We thought about Colorado. I even thought about moving back to Germany, but then it was too much winter. And then eventually we just both settled on because she was acting at the time too. So it was like LA had all the things. It had the sunlight, it had the lifestyle. I went plant-based. So
Nice.
it's
Yeah.
out here, it's abundant, right? So there was that, and then the acting was the cherry on top.
Nice.
So
Nice. Yeah.
we were just like, it checks all the boxes. And then she had family out here. So at the time we were thinking, all right, if we have kids, at least we have a support system. So it was just like check, 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 check.
Yeah.
Thought about it for a year, and then I did, even while I was my health was still not the best, I still mustered up the strength to go out and do some deals. I did a
Really? In
couple.
Cali?
No, 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 no. In New York,
Oh, okay.
I did a few good size rental and sales deals, saved my money up, and then we were out. I was like,
Nice.
let's go.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love that, man. That's powerful. I think that's something that what's crazy about it is that it wasn't the acting. It was just a lifestyle. And
it was.
sometimes we get right?
Yeah,
Sometimes
yeah,
we get stuck on, what it is. We think that, and I tell people all the time, I said, you got to know your what and your why. And then your what and your why, if it's clear and definitive, you'll figure out your how.
yeah,
Right. So for you, it wasn't so much acting because and that's what I was getting to before. a lot of people, they don't want to uproot. They don't want to leave those relationships behind. They just kind of get caught up in whatever their day to day is. And then that dream is just what it is, what it sounds like. It's a dream. It's never
Yeah.
realized. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you're powerful in your mindset where you can say, you know what? Yeah, I've got great relationships, but what's more important for me right now is this change. I need a different lifestyle. I think
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
of people need to hear that so they can acknowledge that within themselves and then bring that to surface, right? The
Yeah.
thing I'm thinking about you, right, is what's crazy, you're Haitian American. You've lived in 3 different countries so far, right? You've lived in Haiti, you lived in Germany, and now you're living in America, right? So you don't really have a problem with just getting up and relocating. And it's about
No.
your mental health. It's about your lifestyle, like you said, right? With everything going on right now with COVID, all right,
Yeah.
and people getting up and leaving and the fear mongering, right? Especially in California. How are you? Do you regret moving to California now? Because it's like super locked down and there's protesting, and you know you've got the governor out there. I think it's Newsom, right? Governor Newsom.
Yeah.
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 Do you regret
Yeah.
that move, or do you want to leave and move to Texas or something?
A lot of people. So the fear mongering, man, this is such. I love this question because there's so many
Talk to me.
layers to it, right? So,
Talk to me.
uh, there's so much fear mongering, and talking about the fear mongering, the first thing I'll say is it's very important that people realize the more we tune into that fear, the
Yeah.
lower it's going to drop our vibration, and hence it's going to drop our immune systems,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
Because our mind controls everything.
Yep.
So we have to, yes, you can check in, watch a little bit of news,
Yeah.
check in Instagram or Facebook, social media, Twitter, whatever, but don't get locked in, right? You got to get out. You got to get sunlight. You got to you got to eat healthy. You got to eat whole foods, you know what I mean? I'm not one of those plant-based people who's like, this diet is for everybody. I don't think so,
Right.
honestly.
Yeah.
Right?
I haven't gotten there yet, but more power to you.
Yeah, no. So that's what, like, yeah, I could sit with my homies, like, yeah, you can have a steak. I'm gonna have this. I'm gonna
Yeah.
have mine. You know what I mean? And it's all
Right.
good. So, in terms of living here, do I regret it? No, not at
No.
all.
What about all
Because
the drama? Like all the drama going on right now with the protesting and the COVID and the lockdown. The lockdown was intense out there, wasn't it?
it's everywhere, though. It's everywhere. Some places it's lighter than others. We just are a lot, it's a lot more intense because COVID is more of a political thing than
Yeah.
anything for me right now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, have been people who died from it. There have been people who have been negatively affected by it, and I do believe 100% that the virus is real thing. I will never ever say it's fake
Right.
because it's not.
Right.
I know people who've caught it, and I've heard different stories, but I do believe that it's not a death sentence. I do believe that if we were told to build if Fauci was up there saying we have to build our immune systems and you got to eat right, you got to exercise, you got to get sunlight, as opposed to being like the only way out is a vaccine, the whole people's mindsets would be different. So the thing is, this goes back to what you were saying about people want to be told what to do.
Yeah.
Since you can't think for yourself and you just acquiesce, of course you're going to be in a low vibrational mindset and not be able to find the right path to set you free,
Yeah.
quote unquote, right?
Right. Right.
So we, I think it's
Excuse me.
I think it's imperative that we find alternative means of journalism,
Yeah.
of information, of media, and then we cross check that information, we research as well, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, California it's one of the biggest states. There's a lot of celebrities here, so there's a lot going on with that, and it's
Yeah.
political in that aspect, right? Because Hollywood is intertwined with the government, and
Yeah.
they're right. I mean, the Newsom had a FaceTime thing on Instagram with The Rock.
Right.
Bro, what? Like, I like
Wow.
Dwayne Johnson, but I
Yeah.
don't like, dude, no, bro.
What
Like,
was it about? What was it about?
I
Like
didn't even,
wearing your mask
honestly, I
or
didn't even,
something?
I didn't even watch it because I can't even watch that dude speak for too long, Newsome, because he kind of irritates me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I feel like it's because I see a lot of corruption and it just makes me unhappy. So I didn't even bother watching
No,
it,
I
right?
hear you.
It's
Yeah,
um so I think look, Joe Rogan just just announced that he's going to Austin.
yeah.
Uh, which makes a lot of sense because one of his buddies that he runs a company with called On It, and I watched the podcast. Aubrey Marcus lives down there. He's lived down there for a while,
Right.
so it makes a lot of sense. I don't know. We'll see. I know, like I said, for me, this is the other thing too. So I also knew, as much as I knew that, I kind of knew I was going to move to California for a long time. I knew I was going to live in LA since I was younger. I've been
Wow.
A Lakers fan for a long time, which pissed a
Okay.
lot of New Yorkers off, and I'm just
Right.
like, whatever, right?
Right.
Um, but I also knew before moving here that I knew I wasn't going to live here. I wasn't gonna I wasn't gonna live here for too long. So I'm going on my fifth year.
Yeah.
But right now, what I'm really working on is, like I was telling you, is getting my acting career getting more momentum.
Yeah.
And then I want to go somewhere else. I'm thinking, like I was saying, island life, but I'm also interested in living in Spain as well.
Wow. How about
So
that? That'd be crazy. Yeah, Madrid or
yeah,
something, right?
yeah, or Barcelona.
Yeah.
Um,
A lot of
but
history. A lot of history there.
lots of history.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't regret it. I don't regret it at all.
Yeah. How do you feel as a young Haitian American living in California, and there's probably where you're living probably is not I don't know, is it, would you say that there's a lot of diversity or a lot of Haitians or a lot of like cultural
Definitely.
identity or cultural separation or any of that going on there?
LA's a funny place, man. There's not enough Haitians here. It's funny, there's a huge Jamaican population
How about
in one of these towns that's a little bit, probably about 20 miles from LA.
that? Yeah.
But there's just little pockets of Haitian people here, right? So
And they're probably
so
super private and quiet, right?
yeah, so when I used to work at this restaurant in Santa Monica. So when I run into other Haitians, we're like, "Oh, ça passe, man, ça fait," you know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. Like, what are you doing out here?
Right, it's this big reunion.
Right.
Um, but there's diversity, but there's diversity and there's small pockets of culture, but
Okay.
I don't know. And some people might think I'm wrong, but I don't feel like LA really has like an overall culture.
Yeah.
If that, I don't know.
Well, I'm asking because it sounds like that Black Lives Matter is probably like super, like, it's going on out there a lot too. The
Big time.
protesting and everything. So one thing I think a lot of people, and I'm going way back. I'm going like Tupac, for instance, right? One beef that Tupac had was like he can make the money, but he likes to be around his people. He likes to be around, Black people. So he doesn't feel comfortable living in an area where it's like he's the only Black guy living there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And so you get that a lot with the Black community, but then you also get a lot with other communities, right? Where, if you think about Koreatown or you think about Chinatown, right? When foreigners start coming in to the States and they start coming into specific neighborhoods, they build their businesses there, they open schools there, right? And
hmm
then there's a circulation of the money. You know what I mean? So it continues to empower the community, it starts to build the community up, right? But somebody
yeah.
like you, who's such an independent, critical thinker, you just get up and go. It doesn't seem like you're, and I don't mean like you get up and go like you're a nomad or anything, but it's like, okay, I got my vision set and I'm going to start working towards realizing my vision. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not thinking about, oh, I'm Black or I'm Haitian, or it's just,
So,
that's something that I think people need to hear maybe from your perspective. What kind of words of wisdom would you give to people who are probably not going to be in super diverse areas, but still want to have that sense of lifestyle change and freedom and fulfillment and pursuing their dreams?
I mean, if you want a lifestyle change, I will say number one, you just have to do it. But you have to, so you have to visit areas and make sure it's right for you, right? Like I visited, I went to Colorado. I came here twice before I moved here.
Yeah.
My area, right where I live, it's decently diverse. There's a good mix of people
Okay.
that live around. I mean, because of where I grew up, because in Queens, I want to live in an I want my neighborhood to reflect the world somewhat, right? So I'm not going to live in an area that's all white, or I'm not going to live in an area that's all black. Like, I want everybody to be inclusive. Like, I think
Right,
it just makes sense, right?
right, right.
Um, and I love my peoples, you know what I mean? But it's
Yeah,
just like, I just like being around everybody.
yeah, yeah.
So I love that. I think it's important. Like Colorado, for instance, way too vanilla. It was just like, I was just like, nah,
Right, right.
this ain't the move. And yeah, it's just, and again, it's not a racism thing. Like I said, I just want to
Identity. You want
feel,
culture.
I want culture, and I didn't feel that there at all. There's a small pocket of black people that's there, and it's just, I was just like, nah, I'm
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
I'm good. And here again, that was another part of the checking the boxes. This was in LA was perfect. You see all cultures here,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I don't think you should be afraid. I think for a long time I also was I had that fear because I knew before meeting my ex, it was, I wanted to leave New York because my son wasn't living in New York anymore. I was flying back and forth to see him in Texas. So I didn't really feel, even though I had my mom there, I have great friends and everything, but I think it's just because of my son not living in there. I felt like a piece of me was missing.
Yeah, I can relate to
So,
that. Yeah,
right. So I didn't feel grounded there. So it was like, I was feeling like leaving in, I don't know, 2010, but I didn't take initiative. It was 2011 when I went to Germany. And then I came back later that year and I was just like, okay, I'm ready to go.
yeah,
But then it didn't really happen until I met my ex, and she kind of propelled the moment. She made it happen. She made it happen in a sense of she was on the same mind space, and it's easier when you have another person and
yeah.
you both have a shared vision. You're like, all right, let's go do
There
this,
it
right?
is. Yeah, yeah.
And she had already been to LA. She knew LA a bit, and it
Right.
was like it was perfect. So in many ways, I even feel like that relationship, aside from, and we had a beautiful relationship, but I think in many ways that relationship was really a catalyst to bring me here.
Love it. Love it. Yeah.
It
You're so
wasn't
insightful, man. I can't even talk to you anymore. You're too insightful.
no, it wasn't, like, because I think a lot of times people get hung up on relationships and they just like, man,
Yeah.
she or he was, that was the one. But I'm like, that person, her and I had such a dope relationship, and her and I will always love each other deeply, but not romantically,
Right.
because we shared so much. But at the same time, like I said, I think that relationship it taught me a lot, but it also gave me the motivation to come here, because
Yeah.
I didn't, even though I wanted to leave, but I didn't do it till 2, 3 years later.
Yeah. Let's talk about your acting. I said this to you the other day, and I want to bring this up because I think it needs to be heard. We need more Haitian history movies, more movies
Oh my
about
God.
Haitian history. I think you would
Yeah,
be perfect. I think Dessalines was probably my height. Dessalines was probably like 5'8", 5'9", right?
yeah,
But I think there are other leaders in history that you'd be perfect for, like Christophe, Henri Christophe. Christophe built the Citadel, right? I
mhm,
think he was short too, matter of fact. We got to find you a role in some Haitian history movie, man. Like, if you can get in touch with like Ryan Coogler and I don't know, put together like a cast, right? Because we were talking, and it's crazy that you saw the movie because a lot of Haitians have not seen the movie about Toussaint Louverture, right?
yeah, yeah,
And I think I forget his name, but the story of Toussaint Louverture is a good story. It's okay, but it's not what
yeah,
led to the actual independence, right?
yeah,
The slave rebellion was led by Dessalines. But
yeah.
what kind of projects are you working on, right? And what kind of projects would you like to work on? Somebody who's, you pursued your dream, you're acting, you got a couple of things going on, right? Are you into action movies? Are you into like documentaries? Are you into romance, dramedies? What are you into? What's your genre?
Oh, that's a great question. I think I know the genres that I'm aiming for. Um, right now are definitely action, thriller, and sci-fi.
Okay. Yeah,
And
you
I
make it like that
know,
guy. Yeah, I could see you
yeah,
with the freaking I Am, or what was the one that Will Smith did? I could see you with the or Eli, a Book of Eli kind of movie. You'd be great for
oh
that,
yeah, yeah.
right?
That's what I'm envisioning for my career, which it's already manifesting, right? Because the two shorts that I've done so far, they both have been these kind of very weird thrillers, these kind of like dreamlike. I love, what's a movie I can I can make an example. I mean, something like The Matrix, all
Okay.
day,
Yeah,
all day.
yeah, yeah. You
There's a
definitely fit
movie with Jared Leto. It's called Mr. Nobody.
that. Hmm.
That movie is so dope. But I really love dream. I love movies that have dream-like sequences and just very reality altering, just consciousness, very like consciousness,
Yeah,
just
like
kind of
Inception. Inception, like one of those kinds of movies, right?
100%,
Yeah,
right?
like mind
Just
trippy.
anything Christopher Nolan makes, what is it, Memento, all that kind of stuff where time isn't really linear, which is that new movie that's coming up, Tenet.
Okay.
Um, I love that time travel movies, but I also know, so um, the movie that I just signed on to is it's a drama. So I know that, and I know I have to add in some I have to add in a little bit more texture. So I know I have to do some comedies because naturally it's funny.
Right.
Naturally, I'm a silly ass person. Naturally.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so it's kind of funny that these are the genres that I pick because I'm a fucking goofball, dude.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah. That's
all
a
day.
whole different
Like
side of you then. Yeah.
I'm a total goofball, so it's hilarious. But I love those genres because I grew up watching them.
Yeah.
But I am gonna do some comedies for sure.
Tell me about the movie. Okay, so you put a trailer up on Facebook, and
Yeah.
it looked like The Matrix. There was a pill involved. There was a girl with a wig involved. I couldn't tell where it was going. I think it was going. I thought it was going towards Lucy. Have you seen that movie,
Yeah.
Lucy, with Scarlett
Oh,
Johansson?
the movie's amazing.
Yeah, and I'm literally trying to figure out where this is going, and the clip just stops, and I'm like, "What the? What did he just do?" Right?
So that movie is called Neon Shroud. That we shot that about a year ago.
Okay.
And the director, I was going crazy because the director he was holding on to it. He didn't I had part of that footage, but I couldn't share it for like 6 months because he has been shopping it. So I understand, right? You can't. I'm like, okay, do your thing. So the idea with that is to make it into a bigger project. That's another thing that I've been manifesting. I put out in the universe where I want to get. I'm working on getting a show that's streaming on Netflix, Hulu, or
Yeah.
one of the Prime, one of the things like on
Nice.
that. So
Yeah, like a
that
series.
correct. So
Yeah.
that clip that you saw, the premise behind that is, which is crazy because it was shot a year ago, but is there's basically a virus that's rife throughout society. So it's kind of a
Jesus.
dystopian future. So it also it kind of foreshadowed, which is scary. It
Yeah. Hell yeah.
foreshadowed what's going on right now. There's a corporation that is holding on to that basically is holding on to, it's not a cure, but it's a medicine that just keeps the virus at bay. But at some point, um, it it doesn't work anymore, and people they have to die. So the girl, she's a messenger that goes to these people that are on the medicine, and she tells them, look, medicine can't do anything for you anymore. She gives them cyanide pills. She's like, we have to end your contract, so you basically have to kill yourself.
What?
Yeah. So what happens is the dude in there. If you don't kill yourself, the virus becomes airborne. If you die naturally, it becomes airborne when your body decompresses. So what happens is I get sent in if people don't comply. Basically, I'm an assassin.
Oh, that's dope. I love
Yeah.
it.
So I get sent in, and
Nice.
I basically have to close the case by force.
Nice.
When it gets to that point. So, but it's complex because that guy's story it's really interesting, which is why I love the role, right?
Right, right.
His story is really complex. he has something. I might put the longer. I have a 4-minute clip of it. I might put it up on Facebook.
Please
I
do.
think,
Yeah. Because
yeah, I
people
think
like me are like, what's the next step? What's happening here? You know?
yeah, there's a longer scene where I go in and I'm interacting with that dude. But it's yeah, his story, the guy's name is Andon, and his story is really complex. He has this dialogue with his mom that's just so intense, and at that's you could see in that scene in my face, it's just it's really heavy. A lot of I had to go somewhere really dark emotionally, but it was great to do, right? I like I like going to that place in
Yeah.
my, right? So it's okay for me. I love it to explore that. It's just
Nice.
coming back. That's the
Yeah.
thing. That's the
Yeah. You know what's crazy? I think about John Berthenol, I think his name is, who played the
yeah,
Punisher. And
John
I
Bernthal.
listen, yo, that guy is an animal. He's
Yeah,
such an animal on the Punisher. And
yeah.
I've literally watched that entire series twice. Okay. Seriously. Why? Because first I started to just watch it for kicks and I was missing out on certain nuances, right? About, from the comic book and then like how it is on Netflix. And to
Yeah,
watch him perform, I think one of the things he says, I forget what podcast he was on, but he says he had to really like isolate himself from his kids and think
yeah.
about his family being murdered because that's what the character does, right? Like
He's a
Punisher,
hardcore method actor.
yo, like for real. And so it gets really dark. I always wonder, like, how do people come out of those dark spaces to get back to like associating with regular, you know what I mean? People.
Yeah. I mean, everyone has a different method. Um, I'm not so crazy about method acting because I was watching somebody talk. It was an acting coach talk about it the other day. He was just saying at the end of the day, because method actors do a lot of real things to get them in that space, that headspace, which can be dangerous, right? That's where you have hence people, for instance, people like Heath Ledger who
Oh
overdoses
wow. Yeah.
on pills, right? Because
Yeah.
he's so in that dark mindset of the Joker.
Right.
Sometimes you can't decipher reality from fiction, right? So I think for me, and maybe it's a little bit of method, but you're still performing, right? So you still got to remember this is what the acting teacher was saying, like you're still acting, right? I think he was talking about this Shia LaBeouf. He went and like actually got a tattoo for his next role. And I'm like, damn that, bro. I
Yeah,
ain't
crazy. Yeah.
I don't care how much bread you paying me. I
Right.
love the craft and everything, but I know what was it? Brad Pitt chipped his tooth for Fight Club. He went to a dentist and had the dentist chip his tooth
That's crazy.
for Fight.
That's crazy. I can see so many different sides of you just talking to you. Are there any sides of you that and I think about guys like Will Smith when he came out with Ali. I tell
Yeah,
you, I thought so I'm a huge Ali fan as a kid, right? Because I did a little bit of boxing and I played around with it, right? But watching Ali documentaries like VHSs, so much of his real personality, Ali, the way he talks, the way he stands, like his disposition, right? I didn't see Will Smith like I couldn't see him doing that because I thought Will Smith was like a goofball, like you were saying, right? Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
a goofball sometimes. Um, but when I saw Will Smith capture Ali's his presence, the way he was, the way his tone, his accent, I was blown away. I was like, yo, Will is the man, right?
Oh man,
Yeah.
yeah.
Are there any kind of movies or any kind of like genres that you would want to do besides comedy that would that you think that like or like Ray Charles, the way Jamie Foxx did, that you would want to like any kind of person that you want to do a documentary about or like a biopic about, um, like they did that comes to mind for you?
Oh man, wow. That would be yeah. Wow. I mean, I think the best one would probably be one of those revolutionaries in that Haitian, right? The story about the Haitian
Revolution. Yeah.
revolution. Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely one of those guys for sure. I mean, I think a lot of American figures have been done over and over again. So, and I think it's time we start telling our story more. So
Right.
for me, 100%, it would be one of the figures in the
Yeah.
revolution.
I can see you as a Dessalines. Like I can definitely see you as a Dessalines. You
Yeah,
have like the thing about Dessalines too is like he was so unassuming. Like
Yeah.
your facial expressions, just like you being you. What if you look at his pictures, you couldn't really tell if he was angry. You couldn't tell if he was happy. He was just always,
Stoic.
yeah, stoic is the word. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that would be amazing if you could play this, Eileen. And there's so much about Haitian history that's left out of like the history books. You know
Oh
what I
my
mean?
God.
That you don't even find. So it's like
Yeah.
for somebody who knows the history, because you actually know the history. Like a lot of Haitian Americans don't know the history at all, or they know parts of it, what they find on YouTube, right?
Right.
So with the whole acting and the method acting and like comedy and your current role that you did before, and you got something else down the pipeline. What do you think about actors that do what do you call that? Improv and like theater, like Chaz Palminteri. Have you seen
Mm-hmm.
have you,
Bronx Tale?
The Bronx Tale? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know it was an actual like it was a theater production first. It was a play first,
Yeah.
right? What do you think about that? Is that something that's like a lost art, or is that something that like
Oh man. I
yeah,
think no, theater could never be a lost art, man.
okay.
I think theater is the foundation of acting, right? So I know I initially wanted to start doing theater um, to get rooted in theater and then have more of a foundation so I could do film. But theater and film are very different, right? Um, because theater is straight through. There's no cut. There's no. You just got to be. It's which is great because you get to ride that moment straight throughout whatever moment you get in which in whatever piece of the story, wherever it's at, you get to ride that moment through. You have no choice,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But film it's cut, go, stop, go, stop, go, stop, go. So it's
Yeah.
like, and sometimes also with film we could shoot the end in the first. We could shoot the end scene first, so the end scene could be super
I
highly
love those.
emotional,
Yeah, I love
right?
those. Yeah.
Yeah, highly emotional film, but you know, the director for some reason made just, you know what, we're gonna shoot the end of the film today as opposed to the beginning. It's just like, damn, okay, die, dude. Like, damn,
Right.
bro, this first day on set, we gotta go there. Okay, fine, whatever. You know what I mean? So no, I think theater will never die, man. Theater is beautiful, man. I mean, like, it's just, yeah. I mean, a lot of great actors were first theater performers. Denzel,
Yep.
um, a lot of these Brits, that's the reason why right now people get upset. A lot of these Brits, that's why they can come and snatch up these leading roles in America is because their foundation, their training is just
Theater.
ridiculous, dude. They're brought up in it.
Yeah.
They're reading all these classical plays in school and just getting all of that. They're just getting all of that in their soul.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I think acting is this natural part. Theater is this a natural part of kind of like their schooling over there,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
they just have. So then for them to go to transition and go into an acting kind of like I forget the name of that conservatory or something like that.
Mhm.
That's second nature.
Yeah.
So you know, I don't get mad at those guys or women taking any roles because
They
I'm
earned
like,
it.
and I think they just, yeah, the best person gets the role. I think the best person should get the role, right?
Yeah.
So just like the dude who played Martin Luther King, he's an English dude. David, I forget his name.
Yeah.
But people haven't, there's this discrepancy. I'm like, he's a fucking brother, yo. Like,
Yeah.
shut up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what? So what? He's English. He's a brother.
Yeah. They don't say African American in England. Like, what do they call
No,
black people, right? What do they call
no,
black people? Like, hello? You know, it's that
no.
mindset. It's
They
just
just say they're the UK. They're Londoners. They don't even refer to themselves as race. I mean, there's racism over there.
yeah.
But when you go to France, they don't be like, I mean, they'll say African, but most of the time, if you're born over there and if you're of African descent, they're just gonna say they're Parisian or they're French. They don't really refer to race.
Yeah, yeah. The thing I was wondering too, because I really see you, and it's a bit of vision of mine, because my father was, my father's a nationalist, a Haitian nationalist. Anything and everything that I know about Haitian history came from it being instilled in me as a very young kid. You know what I
Right.
mean? You know how that is, being, growing up here in America, and he's actually being born in Haiti.
Yeah.
So I think that the story does need to be told, and I think it needs to be told from a Haitian perspective, not from a historian or a professor's perspective, but from a Haitian perspective, right?
Right.
And I like the fact that you're not opposed to theater and you actually have so much respect for theater, because I think
Oh,
that's a good way to get that story told and start to bring some attention to it. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Well,
So
they had here in they were here in LA in Topanga. There's this little town. There's this little theater. They were doing a production of the Haitian Revolution up
get out. Wow,
here.
I never heard
Yeah,
anything about it. Like that's the
I
other
didn't
thing.
get to I didn't get to see it, but it was pretty cool that they were doing that.
Yeah, that's crazy. The one they did about Toussaint Louverture was an independent film, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So there's
yeah,
less. I think what's his name? Was it Danny Glover or Samuel? I think it was Danny Glover who wanted to produce a Haitian um Haitian history movie. I can't remember if it was
yeah,
Danny Glover or Samuel. I think it was Danny Glover, but Hollywood didn't want to do it because it would be too. So Ryan Coogler became the man because he put out a full black the Black Panther, and all the actors were black actors, and it was very empowering. Um,
yeah.
I think that that's a conversation that more Haitians should be having, the history and also how to teach the history. But then what about writing? As an actor, there's a part of acting where you would probably write, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
do you do any of that? Do you do any writing?
Yeah, not lately. I haven't. I started a while ago writing my own script, and I kind of I shelved it. Distracted, really. I got
Well,
distracted.
you're living in California. I don't know anybody gets anything
No,
done out there.
no, I mean, I this was years. I started in New York.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
so it's been a while. But right now it's natural. Right now it's actually natural just because of a lot of these platforms, social media and all these streaming platforms. It is natural for actors to be a one-stop shop, right? I got a homeboy who he's an actor, but he's got 10 scripts, 10 what you call it, 10 scripts ready to go.
That's crazy.
He's
Yeah.
ready to direct them and act it. I mean, he's organized to the point he's got a binder
Yeah.
with them, and
Yeah.
he's just like, this is about this, and they're fully written, and he's
Yeah.
always writing.
Yeah.
So he's
Yeah.
not depending on somebody to put him on, even though he still goes on auditions and he's signed to an agency, but he's still like you were telling your son, he's being a creator,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
There's so
So,
much money in that, right? I'm sure there's so much money in selling your scripts, selling your stories, right? I listen to
oh
those
yeah,
guys talk about that, like Chaz Palminteri selling his script. He made bank. He was like, I gotta be in the movie. Nobody else can be in the movie. I gotta be in it.
right.
Sliced Alone. He made his start from selling his
Oh
script,
my God,
right?
Stallone is the architect, man. I mean,
Yeah.
that guy, he writes everything.
Yeah, he's still eating from those scripts right now. He's still living off of
Still,
those royalties. Yeah, you know what's
still,
crazy too? I think about what we don't see so much in the Black community when it comes to guys like in your space, what you're doing, and guys like Ryan Coogler is extremely young. He's not even 40, first of all, right?
right. Yeah,
Tupac went to theater school. Um,
yeah,
Prodigy also went to theater school.
yeah,
Prodigy was a script writer. He died as a script writer. You know what I mean? So I think there's so much that like and I hear all this Black Lives Matter stuff and I hear all of this. To me, it's like we're looking, and I'm just speaking from my perspective here. This is just my opinion, right? Take it or leave it, right? But I think that there's so much um value in self-awareness, to go right back to your beginning, knowing that
yeah,
what your next step was going to be, and trying to work to and just working towards that next step and envisioning that reality for yourself, right?
yeah,
So as an actor, I think you send such a message, not just to Haitians, but to young Black men and just anybody. If we're not going to put them in race, try to classify them by race, any person that really sees a true value in creating their own reality, tap into that. Tap into
yeah,
that what you have. I don't even know what to call it anymore, right? But you got so many layers of acting. You have the acting, you've got the writing, you've got the theater, you've got the
yeah,
comedy, you got books. I mean, you've got so much, right? To see
yeah,
you do it, to have you on this podcast, to have you, just explain things the way you're explaining, somebody's going to catch on to that and somebody's going to want to be a part of that.
yeah.
Somebody's going to want to do what you're doing. I think
Right.
that's key. I think we need more of that. You know what I mean?
Well, you need, yeah, I mean, we need more, absolutely. We need more self-liberation, right?
That's what
Mental
I'm looking for.
liberation.
Yeah.
That's important, right? To look, at the end of the day, not at, and I say this it's a contradiction, but it's not, right? I do think it would be great for everybody to be an entrepreneur and to be self-sufficient, but it's not the case. It's not going to be the case, right?
Right.
Not everybody wants to. Some people are just, there's a large majority of people who are comfortable working for somebody and getting handed a paycheck and who are comfortable with that schedule. And
Right.
there's nothing wrong with that. That's totally amazing.
That's what
I
makes you
think
happy.
more power to you,
Yeah.
not from, you know what I mean? I like to, and I say that, I mean, I don't even say that as a, it's not a bad thing. It's just not my path.
Right. Right. Right.
I've just always been too rebellious in a sense. And yeah, I wanna take risk, and I think we should take the risk
Yeah.
and to having this human experience. And I think it's important, right? I think, it's like, okay, you experience not having too much money, then why not experience having wealth?
Yeah.
Having,
Yeah.
but you also got to feel wealthy within yourself before you can really obtain that wealth. Because as you see, it's a mindset, right? It's the feeling. Because as you see, there's studies done that most people who win the lotto go broke within a year,
Oh
right?
yeah. 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 I've heard that.
Because they weren't really a vibrational match to that sum that they acquired.
Right.
um and then going back to what you were saying about those stories, I think story movies, why we love movies, because visual stories are such a powerful way to
Yeah.
make an impact. They make an impact on us subconsciously, and they imprint they imprint things in
Yeah.
your mind, right? That's why we used to love comic books. I mean, I was a
Right.
huge comic book fan.
Yeah.
Um, and movies, yeah, movies are just story.
Yeah.
Story is the way, man. So if you could tell great stories, right? Like how powerful. It's one thing to read Malcolm X, but how powerful was it to watch Denzel Washington perform Malcolm X,
Yeah. That was powerful. Yeah.
right? Like to
Definitely.
just bring him back to life like that.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
That was earth shattering, right?
So attached to the character and everything he was going through, man. Like you
Yeah.
feel it. He's such a good actor, Denzel.
Oh
Unbelievable.
my God. Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
God.
For
Yeah.
sure.
'Cause you watch little clips of Malcolm X, and you're like, wow, this dude was him.
For
Like
real. Yeah.
Denzel brought that dude back to life.
Yeah, I still see Denzel as Malcolm X. When you see the real Malcolm X, I'm like, oh, he doesn't look anything like that. Well, he looks like him, but it's like that's like his like brother or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, spirit wise, because Denzel, whenever they catch him media, he always has something substantial to say.
Yeah,
And I appreciate that. I appreciate that as an actor. He doesn't try to be a
politically
like,
correct.
no, not just that, but he's not like who's trying to be someone who's like the fake black community leader. But if you ask him questions, he's gonna, like, he asks reporters, he's just like, yo, okay, I'm gonna let you know what's up.
Yeah, yeah,
This
yeah.
is my opinion,
The way that he
you know.
does. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's usually, a lot of stuff I've heard him say, I'm like, dude, spot on.
yeah. Common sense stuff too, man. Common
Oh
sense
yeah.
that we seem to have gotten away from as a people altogether. You know, where can I follow your stuff? Like more trailers, more of your where
Oh,
do we
just my
follow your stuff?
Instagram.
Yeah.
Just my Instagram. I am my name. I am Jean, first name JEAN_C.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
What's
that's
next for you that you can't talk about? What's next for you?
working right now. I mean, acting wise, just continuously auditioning, continuously working on. I'm working. I just got a script to audition for, so I got that. But then like I told you earlier, I just booked a feature film, supporting role in a feature film, which is
Nice.
gonna start. Production starts. Production has started, but I'm gonna start filming in about 2 weeks.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, and then just working on my craft, studying,
Yeah.
making myself working to be better than I am. tomorrow than I am today. And then I'm also working on an e-commerce platform, so that's just a side hustle for me.
Okay.
Um, so just utilizing all the time right now. Like I also just had, as I'm saying, I just had knee surgery, so I'm utilizing that time where I can't really run around. I
Yeah.
could just like
I'm just going to
sit.
create an e-commerce digital platform. I'm bored. That kind of thing, right?
I mean, it's, I want financial independence, and I also don't. That's what I'm attaining. I don't want to rely on my art, as I don't want to stress my art to have to pay my bills.
Got it.
I could create other means. That's why I was working in a restaurant, so I could have access to monetary means and not have to worry about going to an audition because I need to book it to pay my bills.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Love
know
it.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what the e-commerce platform is. It's just like, all right, I got a great idea. It's an apparel company. It's called Je Suis Human.
Oh,
Uh,
wow. I am
yeah,
human. I love that. This guy is on it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I got the domain for that. I have a lot of designs. The site is pretty much ready to go.
Yeah.
It was a different name before. I just rebranded it. My homegirl is helping me, so I'm just working. That's what I'm going to be doing when I get off this. I'm going to go pick up some scripts, and then I'm going to sit and work on the rest of the designs and literally launch. I'm going to launch this week.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's time to get it going. It's been about 3 months, so it's time. But I rebranded it, so it's okay.
Right. So it's
Yeah.
it's a clothing line. What is it exactly?
So it's a brand. The brand, it is apparel
Okay.
initially. It's
Okay.
apparel, but I'll have other things on
Yeah.
there. It's through Shopify. I mean, that's the thing. There's so many things now. Anybody can do it, dude. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
Shopify
Well, I
makes
want
it.
some merch. I'm asking because I want some merch.
Oh
I want to support.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
So it's apparel. It's
Yeah.
apparel.
Yeah.
It's apparel. It's hoodies. It's hoodies and t-shirts for now. I'll probably incorporate some pants and joggers and stuff like. But right now it's hoodies and t-shirts.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely want
Yeah.
to. I want to buy some. I want to rock some. I want to draw some attention to it. Right.
Oh, as soon as I launch, I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go hard with it. So yeah,
Definitely support that. I'm going to support that. That's what we need to do more. We need to support each other's businesses and just keep that going. You know what I mean? Because
of
that's really
course.
what it is at the end of the day. We need to make sure that we're helping each other out to grow. Right? I'm learning a lot from you. I want you to know that as I hear you talk, I'm thinking in a different way just by listening to you talk. You know what I mean?
Oh, thank you. Likewise, man.
Yeah,
Likewise.
that's really
Absolutely.
why I like having these conversations for sure, man. Let me ask you this, right? Everybody that comes on the Bottom Line podcast, I usually ask them, well, before we do that, let's play a quick game. It'll be a
Okay.
lightning round. It's called Hands Down. All right. So I'm going to give you maybe 3 topics, and then you let me know what your bottom line is about those topics, how you feel about them. If you don't like them, if you don't like any one of the topics, just go ahead and say pass, and then we'll move on to the next one. Right? You ready?
Right. Yeah.
All right. My Haitian brother from another mother. Glio or Glio or oh, you know what? Here, I'm just gonna leave it at the Glio. Do you eat Glio or have you eaten Glio? What is your feel about Glio? Glio is fried pork, ladies and gentlemen. What is
Oh
your
my
feel
God,
about Glio?
man! I used to tear some griot down when I ate. I don't eat meat anymore.
Right,
But
you're plant-based now.
if I was still eating meat, I would definitely tear down some griot for sure.
Yeah, it's so hard to say no to it. It's so good. I'm still working on it, man. I'm still working on it. Yeah. Okay. Next question for you. Here's one for you. Florida, Miami, Florida, or where you are right now in California?
Oh, hands down, Cali. Man,
Really?
nah, not Miami.
No,
Not for long term.
not for long term.
No way. No, hands down, LA. Miami, nah. Miami's a weird place, dude. It's a dope place for a week.
Yeah. For a week? For a week? Really? Dang.
Yeah. It's a weird place. There's some weird vibes out there, man.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And then you also mentioned island life, man. You got me thinking about that because that's like something that sounds so far-fetched for me right now, but that's where I see myself too. So what island do you think is a good island to spend the rest of your life?
Oh man, that's a hard one because
Yeah.
shit, I might go to one, spend a year or two there, and try another one. I mean, I don't know. I know Barbados right now is inviting people to live there for a year to work remotely.
How about that?
So
Nice. I didn't know that.
I might try that. I mean, I don't know. I haven't lived on it. I was in Maui in November. Maui's that's pretty compelling. That's very attractive to me, honestly. I loved living there for not living, but I stayed there for a week. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It
Wow.
was amazing. So
Yeah.
Maui's kind of compelling, I would say.
Okay. Yeah, man. You let me know because I haven't gotten there yet, but it's something that's it's a moonshot goal right now, somewhere far, far, far in the future. When the kids are like in college, I want to be in that on that journey. You know what I
A
mean?
word.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, my son is my son is college age, so it's
Oh,
pretty
well, no wonder you're so far ahead. There you go. How old is your
good.
son now? 18, 19?
22.
22. What?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. He's not kidding around. He'll be on next time you and I talk, you probably call me from an island.
Oh, word. No, my son he's 22. He's a boxer, so he's working on
Nice.
he'll be professional. He'll probably go pro in I don't know, probably a year or two.
Nice. Oh, there's some what division does he fight at? What weight class?
He's aiming for 170 something, 175.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. I don't have all the weight classes memorized,
Yeah, I'm just
but
thinking about who he's gonna run into if he wants to go pro.
yeah, yeah, but he's going pro.
Yeah, congratulations, man. Proud papa
Yeah.
right there.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, for sure, for sure.
definitely. He's gonna knock some heads off. Um, what is your bottom line, Jean-Charles? Your bottom line. So that reoccurring truth that no matter what happens, any setback, you think about this truth and it puts you right back on track to pursue your goals. What is your bottom line?
Oh, my bottom line is that man, this I don't know. There's a few, but I would say I think my bottom line is I wouldn't want to die. I would regret dying without having done the thing that I've always dreamed about doing since I was a kid. Yeah, I don't, they say people have many regrets on their deathbeds.
Right.
I think about that all the time. Like, I don't want to be on my deathbed and being like, damn, I didn't go hard to be an actor. Like, I didn't really try.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, this is not enough. I mean, there's a lot more that's going to happen, but that's my bottom line. That's one thing that shakes me out of if I get in a funk. I'm just like, I, nah. If I died tomorrow, I'd be full. I'd be grateful, which I am now for a lot of things, but I would be regretful that I didn't get to scale that aspect, that artist aspect of me. And it's not just acting, my poetry, uh, probably some music still, like, but mostly the acting.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's powerful, man. That's real. Because you're actually doing it. Congratulations to you, man. Chasing your dream, living in Cali, doing what you set out to do, man. Like
Thank you. I appreciate that.
that's a real example. I think a lot of people can follow, right? Yeah. I'm
But
happy.
you gotta get out your own way. I've had a long
Yeah.
time, and that's one thing a lot of people don't talk about is there was a long time, like where I live right now, my apartment is beautiful, it's amazing, but I also had to believe that I was worthy of it, right? I had to get out of my own way. And a lot of my life, I've been in my own way. I wasn't confident in myself. I didn't believe I deserved certain things. So it took me, I don't want to say it took me longer
Right.
because I think where you are is where you're supposed to be. So I went through those things so I can have, I guess, just to give me more insight and wisdom.
Yeah.
But I think I could have maybe attain those things in less time if I wasn't in my own way.
Hmm.
If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Sure, of
So
course. The limited beliefs.
yeah. So that's one thing people need to like. We have to get out of our own way and get out of our head, right? Because our minds can be our best friends or our biggest enemy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Forget about other people. It's you.
It's you.
Like forget about all the haters and like these rappers always talk about haters. Nah, damn that bullshit. That's bullshit.
Right.
This is the real hater right
Right.
here.
Huh.
So if you can't silence this, anybody else, like what somebody else is going to say to you, you're going to crumble. Like
Right.
this is the biggest hurdle.
Yeah.
Like it's our greatest weapon or our biggest downfall.
Yeah. I don't even know. Like, I think that's something that you are but nobody really talks about that. A lot of people don't really talk about it. They kind of just like subscribe to that crab in the barrel mentality, right? I was having that, I have like I don't realize that they're good conversations, but then I listen to other people talk. I'm like, I had that conversation with my son the other day. And I literally had a conversation similar to that with my son the other day. And I was saying to him, and this is three things. He started playing soccer, and when he's playing soccer, he's not the kind of kid to pass the ball a lot. He has an intent. He wants to score. You know what I mean? And so we're having a conversation. I said, and the people are like, oh, but he's like, I don't know why people are upset with me. This was like before COVID, right? And we're just having this conversation. He's like, I don't know why people are upset with me. I pass them the ball, they don't score. So when I get the ball, I score, right? And I say, well, that's because you follow these three steps. It's see it, believe it, and do it, right? Yeah. It's very simple. You see yourself scoring every time you get the ball. The rest of those kids don't see themselves scoring whenever they get the ball. They just want to know that they can kick the ball. Those kids are playing to play. You are playing to win, right? Don't let anybody tell you that you kick the ball too hard or you don't pass the ball enough. Try to get those guys that when they get the ball, they're trying to score too, right? I think that's exactly what you're talking about. It's like when you have that vision, have the vision, but make sure that your vision is going to be you're going to have a winning strategy to implement your vision, right? Get out of your way, go after what you want, and just go do it. See it, believe it, and then go do it.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Man, you're powerful, man. Definitely. You see, this is the stuff you bring out of me just talking to you.
That's amazing. This is a great platform. When I saw that you had the podcast, I was like, wow, and that's a testament to who you are and how much you're expanding as a human being, right? To just, some people would just stick with real estate and they just grind that because we've seen it, right? In that profession, people just get burned out at some point and they just like, I can't do this anymore. But you're like, okay, I can do the real estate, but also, you know what? Let me try this. Let me do this podcasting, right? There's another layer to yourself. So that's amazing. Congrats on this, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. I just like talking to people, man. I just like talking to people. Yeah. We should do another one soon, you and I, right?
No, dude, I'm totally down, man. This was I really enjoyed the time here.
Yeah, same here, man. Thanks for taking the time. This is Jean-Charles out in beautiful, sunny California.
West Side. But New York is my heart, though.
Really, though?
Yeah, I will love New York till the day I die. Yo, I love New York. Even though I can't live there full time anymore, but New York is there's just the energy, the people, like it's the dopest place in the world, man.
Yeah, I feel the same way. New York is in your heart.
Tokyo's pretty awesome, though. Tokyo's awesome.
Tokyo?
Tokyo's awesome.
Wow. Yeah, I got to see your passport, man. You've been to so many places. I got to see your passport. Yeah. This was the Bottom Line Podcast with Jean-Charles today, where we say what we mean and we mean what we say, because at the core of everything that is, was, and forever will be, there will always be the bottom line.
Earth.